Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Daily Top 10. This is Japhet from the Arc of Trading, doing a technical analysis for today on the trending stocks, and we're going to analyze them objectively and see where price action takes us. So before we get on our trending stocks, let's go to our index first. So you see here, PSEI, our index, it did a good move on the upside, almost up 1% at 50.66 points, coming in from an open of 64.27. So that's a good move on the upside, and with a lot of positive foreign net for today, and it is wanting to retest our 6500 zone. So that's a good sign for PSE as a whole, and for our index as it moves quite a lot, quite huge today as it bounced from this bottom right here. So yeah, I hope this continues on, creates like a higher low right here, or maybe like a double bottom, so that we could see a big move from down here. So yeah, good retest for now. Watching out for double bottoms, or for it to slow down, range here, and then move on the upside. So let's see what happens for our index. But up first, for our trending stock, we have DDMPR, the DD REIT. So let's go to that right now. DDMPR, newly listed, fresh off today, the release today, the launching today. So we just have one candle since it only launched today. So let's go to our smaller time frame. On our 1 hour, right after it opened, had a ceiling of 2.4, a high of 2.4, but close at 2.25 unchanged. And yeah, that was quite a ride. If we go to our 15 minutes, yeah, I was actually charting this early on, and these support levels did not hold up, but rather it had a bias of a downtrend right here. So it's going down right now, but we do see a level of support right around that area. So it's still technically inside that support zone, the 2.24 to 2.25. So that's our immediate support zone, or 2.6 rather, right now. So we shall see if this area holds. If not, if more people sell this, we could see a push on the downside, and so far the bias is on the sellers since the opening. So it's just been going down, creating this lower high right here, and then continuing to push on the downside. So a lot of not a lot of movement towards the end of the trading day, but it closed at 0%. So yeah, this is a pretty heavy stock to move, because the market cap is at 40 billion right away. And yeah, today's traded value was 1.48 billion. So this, technically speaking, charting wise, this is just on a downward bias right now, and it could pierce through this, maybe, most likely, or it could bounce up. So we do not know. It's just because it's a doji candle towards the end, so it's just flat. We don't know where it's gonna go yet. Tomorrow, for all I know, it could bounce on this support level, or it could break down even more. So that's it for my take on DDMPR, the DDMP REIT. Let's move on to our next one in Dito, who is doing a sideways movement right now. So two doji candles floating in the middle of this consolidation range. So we shall see if it's gonna test this, if it's gonna test this downward trend line right here. Hopefully it does very soon, and hopefully it attempts to touch it with a huge move from our level of support. breaking this resistance and gap as well. So we shall see what it wants to do, but for now definitely has a slight bias on the sellers, still going downwards, and it's still undecided what it wants to do. But yeah, we're seeing this symmetrical triangle, so definitely undecided, and it's trying to, you know, get smaller and smaller of a candle here, and it'll finally decide where it wants to go very soon. So watch out for that. Watch out for Dito, what it wants to do. I feel like there's a huge move coming soon, so we shall see. But let's move to our next one in APL, who settled on our support zone right here at 0.1960 to 2050 is holding up. So it closed above 1960 area right here, and we shall see. It's so close to attempting to break this resistance, I guess, trend line right here at 20. What is this? Yeah, so there's still a resistance at 2050, but the trend line is also right there, so it's gonna try to push through it, and if it does, that's a huge move on the upside with a target of this support zone right here. So this is the 2350 to 2450 zone, so that's gonna be 0.2350 to 0.2450. So that's a zone that we could be watching for this to test if it does break. If it does break this level of, you know, downward trend line, so we shall wait and see what it does. But good move, closing on this range right here at 1960 to 2050. So it's still within that. Great finish, great close right there, instead of being rejected on here. But we shall see. It's kind of like a doji candle right there, but it's trying to push upwards. So next up we have which kind of got rejected, even though it wasn't the resistance zone right there. Yeah, let's just move downwards instead of pushing upwards a little bit more. But we see this as well, attempting to touch this downward trend line that we have right here. So for now, it's definitely stopped. It has definitely stopped its hard push on the bottom. We do see our support zone holding up, being tested once, twice, and 3 times, and it might attempt to touch it once more, or yeah, so we shall see what it wants to do. But for now, I'm definitely moving sideways right here. So if it does touch this downward trend line and breaks it, that's gonna be a good sign for us to look for buys or long position right here. So let's move to our next one with PHA. Let me go to PHA, closing in at 2.03 pesos or unchanged. It's still on that support zone. Almost 3 small candles, doji candles right there, and this is still on a descending triangle almost. So that's not a good sign. There's not a lot of strength, not a lot of push on the upside, as we close on almost uneven today. Not almost, it's an even 2.03 today. So it doesn't it hasn't pushed huge on the upside just yet, showing no strength just yet for PHA. So it's still within this support zone. Great time to accumulate if you want to take the risk right now for PHA. But yeah, that's it. Up next we have DAVIN, Vinci Capital Holdings. So it's trying to push up against the 3.1 support turned resistance now. Good for DAVIN. This kind of looks like PSE, honestly. So it's pushing there to our 3.1 or 3.0 rather levels. So let's see if it does break above. If it does break above and builds a level of support somewhere there. So yeah, that's the move for DAVIN, but definitely seeing it wanting to retouch the trend line as well, as it was overextended right around these areas and it wants to settle sideways and touch this downward trend line, see if it holds up or it breaks it above here. So we shall see what happens. So it closed at 2.97, positive 18%. That's good. Good, huge move for DAVIN. So up next we have ACEN closing in at 6.92 or negative 0.57%. So it's maintaining this uptrend right here. Good move for ACEN. So it's just maintaining this upward trend line, and this is primed for maybe an explosion on the upside, or it could still break this and retest this support zone right here, depending on what it wants to do. But yeah, this is primed. If this attacks the resistance with a huge move, definitely a must watch out for. But yes, we are watching the zone to potentially hold if it does retest. We're watching this trend line to potentially hold if it does touch it again right here soon, maybe tomorrow or the next 2 days. Let's see what it wants to do on those zones. So let's move to our next one in tech. We haven't looked at this in a while. Yeah, tech. Wow, tech ended the consolidation phase right here. I think it might have broken, or it just touched the trend line. It did touch the trend line, or we could say, I guess, it closed for the first time above the downward trend line, and then it's also above this resistance zone. That's a good move for tech, closing in at 6.2 or 3.3% up. So that's a good move. Definitely watch out for the pullbacks on these levels at 6.05. So that's a good healthy pullback area for tech, for it to keep pushing or keep rallying back up. So we shall see. That's a good healthy move, breaking out of this resistance level at 0.605, and then we should be watching this resistance level now turn as a support zone for tech. Yeah, this is a good move to retest breaking this downward trend line. So that's a good move for tech right now. So definitely must watch this on the next few days. So we're going to PRMX, the PRIMEX Corporation. We're going to be looking at this one also, closing well at positive 12%. We're closing in at 2 pesos with a lot of net foreign. So what did it do? Let's see what the story is behind this. So it broke above this level of resistance right here, which was tested once, twice, almost. I'll include that. Sure, I'll include that third time that it was attempting to break. So finally, March 19 was about 5 days ago. Last week, it broke above, candle closed above this resistance zone, and then the candle is maintaining to stay above. So we have a support level right around this area right now at 1.7 to 1.80. So that let's put that as a reminder. 1.7 to 1.80 1.75 to around 1.82. So for me, that's a great level to watch out for. So if we go to our daily candle, yeah, there we go. There is our range of support. Hopefully that will hold up in the future. It's definitely a zone that I'm watching as it builds, you know, attempts to break this, or it could get rejected right here and retest this level of support. So I'm definitely watching this area right here to hold up and be tested for the coming days. So watching out for PRIMEX as well. PRIMEX Corporation. So let's see where that takes us. But good move today. 12%, closing in at 2 pesos. And the support level is holding up. And it could retest this ceiling right here at around 2.18. So that's a 52-week high. It could retest it if it does break, but it could also get rejected on that area and potentially retest this zone. So healthier move is it retests the support level and strengthens it, and hopefully it holds up instead of breaking back down. So we shall see what happens to PRIMEX Corporation. But for now, let's move back to our index, where we saw a great move on the upside. So good moves for the market as a whole, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we do see a reversal of trend on this downward trend line, hopefully ending really soon. But yeah, that's it for me for today on the episode of the Daily Top 10. If you found something useful from here, don't forget to leave that thumbs up. Helps the video get exposed out there for the rest of YouTube to discover, and for those who might need it. So yeah, don't forget to share this video to anyone who you think might need it, might need to see this. And as always, remember to stay patient, especially in this down market, and to be disciplined and strive to be consistent with your trading. So that's it for me for today. I'll see you guys on another episode tomorrow.